how I trick myself into success. So, we all know deep down that thing we could do that would help us get to the next level. And it doesn't have to be something big. For example, for me, taking cold showers, going for a jog. To some people, they might be big. To other people, they might be just really not that much of a big deal. But either way, I knew before I did those things, if I were to just start going for a jog, if I was to start having a cold shower, that's what I needed to do to get to the next level of my progression, of my personal growth journey. So they're just examples, but we all know deep down. So for example, if you're hating your job, if it's your job that's like the main problem that's really kind of sticking out for you in your life, you know deep down you need to look for another job. Or you know deep down you need to ask to move department, whatever it is. I think we all know, whatever that is, it's all unique to us individually. But we all know deep down what it is. That one thing that we need to do to level up. Or it could be many things, but to save confusion, let's just start with one thing. So, when I say you need to trick yourself into success, there's little things we can do, little hacks that we can trick our own mind to doing those things that we know will help us get to the next level. So, go back to my examples. Let's start with going for a jog. So I know that especially now in the UK, we're in January, well actually in February, 1st February right now, the weather isn't that warm, let's put it gently. It's cold outside, it's really windy, it isn't really that enjoyable being outside at this time of year. So when I'm telling myself I'm going for a jog, I'm not going to think about that. I'm not going to focus on the weather isn't great right now, it's going to be cold, maybe even a bit painful if the wind's quite extreme. I'm not going to focus on that. But what I do know is whenever I do go for a jog, I feel amazing afterwards. I literally feel transformed. When I get to my first quarter of the jog, coldness isn't an issue. Getting out of breath isn't an issue anymore. Resistance of doing it isn't an issue anymore. So I know from me leaving my house to me getting to that quarter away into the jog, I know that's all I need to do is get to that point. So, how I get there is completely down to me. I can sit there and think, oh, I've got to go for a jog now, oh, it's going to be so cold, oh, I can't be bothered. I can do that, but why would I do that to myself? When, one, I know this is in my best interest. Two, I know I'm going to feel friggin' amazing afterwards. And three, why make it hard and just not very pleasant before I even start? When I know the outcome is for my best interest and the outcome is actually really pleasant. So, that's one example of how I trick myself. I just don't focus on those things. I focus on the things that make me want to go for a jog, which is, oh, I'm going to feel amazing afterwards. Oh, I can't wait to be warm. I can't wait to go and see that view that I love when I go for a jog. I can't wait to see all the nice people that I say morning to or whatever when I go for a jog. I can't wait to see all the dogs that I love to see. Bear with me. I know it's a big cut, but warm and cozy. I don't have it all the way to the top, but lion's mane for those who are onto it. A bit of lion's mane, memory mushroom boost. Anyway, yeah, so I focus on those things. Or if I'm really not in a sort of high energy state, I just will try not to focus on any of it. Not the good or not the bad. I would just focus on putting my jogging gear on, getting my hoodie on, getting my shoes on, doing the little preparatory stretches. That was all I will allow my mind to focus on. At least that isn't allow my mind to switch on this negative movie, this disastrous movie. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So the second example, I mentioned cold showers. If you haven't done a cold shower, you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds horrible, how could you do that? First off, I can't stand the cold. So that is why I do it. Which sounds like, huh? But yeah, I just know. Back to what we said in the beginning, I knew that the cold was something I've always like could not stand. Like there's not liking it and there's cannot standing it. The cold is just like, like we're getting to September, I'm like, no, no, it's coming, the cold is coming. Like that has literally been me like my whole childhood, teenage life. My boyfriend told me about Wim Hof. If anyone has heard or seen Wim Hof, absolute legend. If you haven't, absolute legend. Really, really recommend Wim Hof. Oh wow. He basically talks about, to summarise, that if we put ourselves under stress, but we do it in a controlled way, and also we're doing it of our own choosing, it has a massive benefit to the body. We can actually help our body cope under stressful situations. And the cold, as an example of that, cold exposure has so many benefits. Like, check it out yourself, but to list just a few, it really helps circulation. I've always had really cold feet. It's always been a problem with me during the winter, especially, and cold hands. But since doing cold showers, it's definitely helped. It boosts your immune system, so it will make you less likely to get ill, which is especially helpful during the winter. It will boost your mood, trust me, like it is something I can't even put into words, but how I feel before the cold shower and after the cold shower, it is almost like two different people. Like I feel pumped, to put it in that way. Like I can't even think of how else to describe it. You have to just try it. Like you feel like a superhero. You feel like you could do anything. You're just like, oh, let's just start this day. I'm ready to tackle this day. Bring on anything. You just feel like you've got superpowers. So yeah, if you haven't tried it, wow, I recommend trying it. But you have to just trick yourself again. So this is how I do it. What I was saying with the jogging example, I don't go in there and think, oh my gosh, it's going to be freezing, it's going to be horrible, because I mean, it is really cold at the beginning, and it is just, it is, you're into a cold shower, what do you expect? But having said that, I know afterwards, I feel like I've literally got superpowers. I don't even feel cold after a cold shower. I literally, like, it doesn't even bother me. Because when you've experienced something that's so cold, your body is then like a lot less sensitive to the cold in my experience. So yes, I don't think about, oh, it's going to be cold. I don't think about that. All I focus on is putting my foot over the bath, getting into the shower, and then just stepping forward. That's all I allow my mind to think about. If it does try to drift, of course it definitely does, but I just bring it back to the present action I'm doing, getting in, going forward, and then once I'm in the cold water, the rest is fine. Then I'm already in it, then you just go through the motions of what you do in the shower. So that is how to trick yourself. And also what I used to do when I first started having cold showers, I would make a pact with myself that the minute I turn the shower on, there's no going back. Because I think what makes a cold shower so difficult, apart from being so cold, is when you're having this internal debate. Just decide to yourself, okay, I'm gonna have a cold shower. I know it's gonna be really beneficial for me. I want the health benefits it's gonna give me. I want the feeling it's gonna give me. So once you've made that internal decision, once you've decided, you then say to yourself, once I turn that cold water on, there is no going back. And it really, really does help that resistance. Yeah, like honestly, once you're in there, it is fine. The hardest part is getting in there. So once you make that decision with yourself, and also again, trick yourself into not focusing on how horrible it's going to be or how cold it's going to be, focus on why you're doing it. It's going to make you feel great. You're going to feel fantastic afterwards. I've never once regretted going for a jog. I've never once regretted going for a cold shower. So try this technique. Trick yourself into success. What is the one thing that you've been putting off? Or what is the one thing you know? If you just did this one thing, it would really help your life. So see how you can trick yourself into actually making it happen. Here's to our success.